Now, you've done your introductions, and now really we want to see whether you understand what you've said and whether you know any more than that. So I'm going to ask Amir to start first. If you can sit back, Choksi, for a moment. And Amir, if you can start with questions for Don Bosco, please.
Both of you kind of emphasize the point that the US has been India's friend in need. Yeah, you actually said it.
So is this? Sorry, no, it's this slide.
I'm
sorry, no. So yes, is it this side? This is Don Bosco.
But I'm just asking Subhrangshu.
Oh, Subhrangshu. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Subhrangshu, you okay? Your major point seem to be that between China and the US, one is India's collaborator, right? And the other is a competitor, right? Now, and your point is that China has moved away from being a confrontationist state to being one that is increasingly cooperating with India. Is there any specific evidence for this? Why are you saying this? What makes you say this thing? I don't know if many people would agree to this contention.
Okay, thank you. Santosh, do you want to put a question to them?
Yeah, I mean, I found that both of them spent a long time talking about why it should not be, part of the United States, sort of why the relationship should not exist.
Audience.
I'm not very clear as to what the argument offered as to why should it align itself with Asia. The two arguments offered was one, that they helped us at the time of independence. From what I remember, in the first 20 years, we had 3 wars with 2 Asian so-called brothers. The second point that was made is SAARC, which is more or less a non-entity in any real sense. So these were the 2 substantive points that were made about why we should have an alliance with Asia. Both of which, to my mind, I'm really asking if these really are substantive reasons why we should have anything to do with Asia.
Okay, thanks. And Les?
Yeah, for both of you, really. I wasn't quite clear what you felt was meant by Asia. All of it, which is absolutely huge, or specific countries like China or Southeast Asia as a bloc. What do you mean by the interests of India are more with Asia? Is it the whole continent, or is it certain parts of it?
Okay. Who wants to start? Okay, very quick chat. Very quick. Okay.
I would like to answer Sir Amir's question, where you asked for evidences of how can you justify that China has become a competitor of India.
Or a collaborator, even.
Or a collaborator in any sense. So I'd like to put some stats in front of you, that since the Indian economy has taken off, the Chinese economy from the very beginning had a steady pace. But from as my stats said, in 1992 to 2002, the annual economic growth rate of India was some 6%. It would have been higher because of there was a partly Asian currency dip, so it got a bit less. But then it was 6%. Since then, India's economy has taken off. And in the past 5 years, it has recorded an average annual growth rate of 8.8%. If we keep up with this, we can say that as China had been, its 1 trillion economy would double its size in some 8.5 years. And moreover, the Planning Commission latest 5-year plan, which became operational from April 1st, it envisaged an average annual growth rate of 9%, rising to 10% from 2000.
Subhrangshu, just give me one sentence. Where has India collaborated with China? That's it. And forget the data.
Well, sir, then I would like to place just one statement in front of you. In 2005, the Chinese premier made a statement that India and China are moving towards cooperation and strategic development. From the 1998's destructive views about Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh, we have come to amicable considerations and compromises. But basically with US, even as I said in today's morning headlines I've seen.
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Now, You said that very good in one sentence, but you said it very fast. So slow down a bit. Yeah. Anything else you want to pick up then? Your other question.
I think Sir Santosh said, why Asia? Is that the basis of the question? Why Asia?
And I pointed out that some of the evidence that you had pointed to was was that substantive enough? That was my question to you.
Okay. Well, sir, as I pointed out in one short aspect, that cultural identity is one of the greatest aspects of human development, and any progress developed would obviously won't survive sustainably unless there's a certain amount of cultural and social integrity maintained within the society itself. Well, I guess, and it's obviously evident that India shares a much greater cultural bondage with Asian countries than with the culture prevalent in the West, and that's US at large. We may say the US in the West. And also, I would like to say that USA is a great problem solver, correct? But in fact, it doesn't suffer from all the problems. It's a developed country itself. We really suffer from illiteracy, a great rate of it, of diseases, of lack of infrastructure. And we are the first hand, we can understand each other, and thus we can put all the intellectual power and resources into solving those problems in a much more first-hand way rather than the third-hand way.
Okay, thanks. Anything else on either of you?
There's one more question.
Yeah, go on. Come on then.
Okay.
Whoever.
Well, I think Mr. Dangerfield said that, is Asia here referred to as a whole or just certain specific parts of it? Well, basically, I would like to say that Asia in itself is a really diverse continent, the largest in the world, in fact. And basically, we depend on all of its parts for certain help or the other. Whereas, you see, we do depend on our future, does depend a lot on the growing economies of China because it has a huge manpower. Also, it is the fastest growing economy in the world. And in the near future, Indo-Chinese trade is almost sure to overtake the Indo-US trade. And also, I would like to say that since India is a service sector, it just concentrates on the service sector, and China concentrates on the manufacturing sector. Imminent competition means like clashes are, I don't think it's pretty obvious. It's not imminent. Means like clashes not pretty imminent, and also that, well, I would like to say that yeah, we care about Russia too. We care about the SCO countries, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization countries. But basically, China happens to be the biggest country in the world with the largest population, so it's the major player in Asia right now.
So would you have liked the topic to be India's future lies more with China than the United States?
Well, sir, it's a very interesting topic. Well, I think it would have been much more relevant to today's world.
Yeah, go on, carry on. Go on. They weren't given the topic title, but you carry on. Okay. Yeah, go on.
And moreover, every country doesn't have everything. Every country has its own specialization. While Israel, that forms a part of Asia, is very good in its military tactics. While there's China, we have other things. If you consider Singapore and Malaysia is very good as trade offers because they are very, the duty-free ports they have where they sell Indian products. So it is very much good for India's economic growth. So you have a good relation in all countries so that we benefit from every field possible.
Okay, anything you want to push them on, anyone? Anyone want to ask them any more questions or push them on anything? Happy? Judges? Okay. Oh no, Amir, did you want to? Yeah, go on.
Yeah, just a quick thing.
Yeah. Shh,
audience. Do we want the US to play a role in Kashmir or no?
India has always rather maintained a certain position that it doesn't want third-party interference in its affairs.
What do you want? Do you want US in Kashmir?
I would like that US doesn't take part in Kashmir.
Okay. Right. Okay, you can kind of sit back but don't relax because you need to be listening to the question. Oh, sorry, Les has come back.
Yeah. We haven't really discussed Pakistan, of course, and Pakistan is very much part of Asia. To what extent do you feel that Pakistan is an important part of India's future?
Well, so Pakistan is our neighbors, and since countries can't move over the years, it will always remain a integral neighbors. So basically, we need to learn to live in peaceful harmony with it, but which seems imminently threatened by the certain aspect of terrorism and state-sponsored terrorism as India suspects right now. It's not exactly, we can't say publicly state-sponsored terrorism, but India suspects so. So basically, I think it's